With over 1,000...
Little elbow to the snorkelers. Where's that? There's the other two pieces of paper that you had with all the stuff. What did I do with those things? No, they were... Is that it? That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. Thank you, Peter, as Manly takes the field to defend their Coca-Cola World Sevens title. They won it in '94. Jeff Tuvey and his teammates have got the chance now to be the first team ever to win the title back-to-back. Some class acts around him, including Cliffy Lyons, Stephen Menzies and Danny Moore. Menzies, of course, fresh back from the Kangaroo Tour. An imposing record in Sevens football down through the years. They're the only club that has won it twice. They won it in '90, they won it last year, and they went out as runners-up in 1993 to Eastern Suburbs. Fiji have not enjoyed the same success, although they went out in the Cup semis last year to St George, who went on to ultimately be beaten by Manly. But if there was a popularity barometer here at the Sydney Football Stadium, these guys would certainly win hands down. But Manly are no strangers to that, and they'll handle that situation here as they have down through the years since joining the Winfield Cup back in 1947. The Fijians will perform their war cry. Five of them will be engaged in Winfield Cup this year. This is, well, you're not out there, Fatty. That'd frighten you. The crowd love them, and I hope the television audience enjoys this one as Peter Sterling and Paul Vorton join me in the box and Steve Roach is on the sideline.
I'd rather be with than against the Fijians. I think in Sevens football, especially when you get to the high level, and that's the finals, you look at the best defenders, and you probably do have to favour the Manly club. During this tournament, they've been outstanding in their scrambling. Fiji are going to put a lot of pressure on their opposition's defence. They can go the length of the field, but Manly have been very strong. I think it'll be the side that can stop the most points to take this out.
The final is 10 minutes by 10 minutes. Danny Moore, one of the high try scorers for Manly in the tournament so far. Bill Harrigan has got the whistle for the final of the Coca-Cola World Sevens. It's underway. Manly gets first use of the football. Tuvey on the end of a floating pass from Ridge. They take it towards the centre. Hill brought down and tackled by the number 1 for Fiji, Kubawai, to play with Cronulla this year. From Ridge, it's with Lyons now. He looks for Menzies to give him the decoy. He does that. Hancock, who's had a magnificent tournament, comes back away from the sideline. He's rounded up, but gets it back for Matthew Ridge, and he's on the end of a Kubawai tackle, which is helping him gain ground. He got the big Fijian shove as Menzies a dummy half unloads. Tuvey gives it on. Lyons is with it. Promotes for Hill. Hill tries to stand up the opposite there, number 9, which is Saru. And Terry Hill will play the ball. Still a couple of tackles left on this set. Danny Moore looking to step away from the dummy half area, but held by Saru. Harrigan still without the hand in the air, so I guess this must be the second last on this set as Lyons goes across and Menzies can't beat the defence. Now the hand is in the air from Harrigan. We've got the last tackle with us. Lyons runs to the 20. Tuvey inside. Hancock outside. He's meant for the kick. Tuvey! Tuvey up on the inside. Got right under their guard, the little fella, and he puts it down for a try.
Once again, the genies have flipped Lyons in the 7's football. He's put one on here for Jeff Tuvey. He throws a dummy back inside. That held him up just a fraction. And then Tuvey, he did look offside.
He only looked offside because he was.
Exactly. Only 2 metres.
Well, they've done well, Fiji, to hold on that long. But Jeff Tuvey, I actually think he ran between the legs of a couple of Fijians to get there. Matthew Ridge, not an easy conversion attempt. In the first set of 6, they put 4 points on the board.
The try came after 1 3/4 minutes, 8 minutes now, unexpired time in the first half. Steve Roach on the sideline.
Yeah, well, the Fijians excited about being in the final. They've been told by their coach to play the football that everyone expects. As you said, they are the crowd favourites. Everyone up. Don't be overawed by the occasion. Manly, they think that they've got more petrol than the Fijians. They've already played in 3 trial matches. The big thing from Bobby Fulton is to make sure you finish off the tackles.
Lock, any idea how healthy both teams are? Any injuries at all?
Yeah, there are a couple of niggling injuries from both sides, as you expect after 3 days of football. But, you know, they're all fit and they're all taking the field.
Now running across to the left was Naikakalu, and coming back on the inside is Dakwatonga, I think. In fact, it was Langi, the other Penrith player, 1 of 3, and now here's Kubawai taking the defence on, took 2 in with him, and now they've spread the ball through Kadroka. He turns it up, it's with Saru. Saru on an arc-like run looking for a hole to present itself. It's not there. No, Naikakalu is with it. Back and across for Koravata. Koravata goes across the park looking for an inside runner. Oh, Jeff Tuvey. Jeff Tuvey stands tall. He plows him into the ground. Still the Fijians with 1 left. What will they do on their last tackle? They spread the ball to the centre, and now across. It's intercepted by Craig Hancock. This will be an interesting duel. Hancock is running away from the Fijian. Slow down, Craig. You might run out of the park. They're not chasing. And
again, I think that comes back from the defence of Manly. They actually drove the Fijians back away from their line. Tremendous tackle from Jeff Tuvey on Koravata. Illustrated just what kind of defence we're seeing from them. And the pass was one out of frustration. That was taken by Craig Hancock, who got up in the line.
Already the storm clouds are there for Fiji. Craig Hancock, a 60-metre try, and Matthew Ridge converts. And that converts on the scoreboard to 10-0 in favour of Manly, with 5 3/4 minutes of the match in the first half remaining.
He's just a super player, Jeff Tuvey, isn't he, Fatty? The technique and the timing in his defence is a lesson to everyone.
Oh, he's wonderful. I think his lack of height is a bonus for him, the way he gets under and drives in defence. And right about their defence, they do these defensive drills all day at training, and that's why in the 7's football they cover the field so well. Credit to their coach.
This is Saru. And now turned back on the inside by Nalangi to the other Penrith player, Dakwatonga. 35 metres out from the Manly line. They spread it back towards the centre of the park now, where it's in the hands of Naikakalu, one of the top point scorers, in fact the top point scorer. And this will be a penalty to Fiji where the ball landed.
Yeah, Danny Moore took the player out who put the kick in. Very dangerous tactic in 7's football, the kick behind the line. Manly hadn't reacted too well to it. I think Danny Moore realised there weren't too many troops back there.
So can Fiji now get themselves on the scoreboard and put some respectability there for themselves? Down 10-0 and only about a quarter of the match gone. Here they are now trying desperately to outmaneuver Manly. Manly matching up, one-on-one, sliding defence. Nobody can drop off in the intensity of defence in this game. As Naikakalu turns it up for Tonga, and Tonga is tackled there by Tuvi again, getting down low and driving. And away from dummy half goes Dakwa Tonga. And again Tuvi is there to the fore. So Dakwa Tonga playing it back to Ili Tonga, and they decide this time to get it away from the ruck and out to the backs and away to the second receiver, and this is Murewa, and he's tackled 10 metres out from the Manly line. Playing it now, back for Dakwa Tonga to give on for Nakakalu, and now Wayne Drower turns it back inside, and Fiji have made the mistake, and Cliffy Lyons applauds his teammates.
Once again, the frustration coming out there. Manly driving them back in defence once again. Fiji aren't used to this. They've run in probably 15, 20 tries in the games they've played.
The one thing that Manly are doing well defensively is covering the inside man. They run a lot of angles, Fiji. That's caught out other teams in this competition because there's been some laziness in opposition defences. Matthew Ridge makes some easy yards, but well taken down low. That time the Langi coming out with a good tackle. 39 out from the Seagulls line.
Jeff Tuvey was haunched over in back play, and he's had the hand in the air as Lyons gets a lofted pass down to John Hopewate, and Hopewate tries to stay in touch. He did for what I would think was a long enough period, but Harrigan goes with the touch judge and claims that the tackle was simply being completed, so the scrum will be fed by the Fijians. Hopowate's there. He's still in the field of play, and it's that last little push.
Yeah, Winfield Cup, that's a penalty.
I think so.
Yeah, the tackle had been finished in 5 minutes.
So Fiji now back on their own 20-metre line. And they've got the task of bridging this 10 points to 0 deficit, and they've got to do it fairly quickly. 2 3/4 minutes left in the first half. But that is a pretty big lead by anybody's standards, and more particularly against Manly, who know pretty much all there is to know about Sevens football and the craft of winning. The record speaks for itself. The ball down and away now from the Langi, who was injured earlier. And this is Kadroka. Now they're outside the 30-metre point, their own end of the park, though. Korovata was with it. Now Langi was looking for the pass, but Korovata couldn't slide it. Now Langi passes from dummy half. Kadroka is the man with the ball, looking for an opening, but it's not presenting itself. They haven't been able to pierce the Manly defence. And the Manly defence, in contrast, has frustrated them into error. Dakwa Tonga running away from his teammates and put away by Tuvi. Kicked down the ground by Kubawai. Dropping back, Cliff Lyons. Lyons looking around for his wingers, looking for John Hopewate on the left and Terry Hill on his right. The Fijians have got the ring around him, and Lyons was keen to draw them in, but I think he needed support back on an onside position much earlier than they straggled back.
Well, this will be the most important minute and a half for the Fijians. That's the length of time to the break, and I think if Manly could score before the half-time interval and extend that 10 points to 0 lead, the game would be all over. Cliff Lyons, a short ball to Hopewate, beats one, can't beat a second.
He's able to get the pass away, though, as Cliff Lyons backs up. Lyons thumped to the ground by Dakwa Tonga, but
he bombed
there
that
was a
one.
player outside him absolutely jog-trotting, Steve Menzies. Menzies would have scored, but Cliff Lyons is very groggy. He took a heavy knock from Dakwa Tonga, although I sense a smile came across the face of Cliff Lyons. As Matthew Ridge is taken out of it, Terry Hill comes to Kubawai, stands him up, runs around him, and then just jog-trots to the try line. The Fijians know that they're up against a class act when they face up to Manly's Jeff Tuvey, Cliffy Lyons, Steve Menzies and Terry Hill and company.
That's Terry's favourite play, that in and away. He loves to run down the right-hand side of the field. The tackle on Lyons had Menzies and Tuvey on the outside and brushed them both. Copped a bit of treatment in the tackle there, but just watch Terry, just the in and away here. And if you get him on the right-hand side of the field, he prefers a great deal to run on that side, and it was all too easy for him.
I'm sure Bob Fulton wants his players to enjoy the tournament. He's shown how serious he is by playing both Terry Hill and Steve Menzies, both kangaroo tourists.
Well, it's hard, Pete, to come up with any other club that has played a kangaroo tourist in this competition. I don't think anyone has.
The siren is sounding in the background. The try was converted, and 16-0 the score, and there it is going dead now. So Bill Harrigan will take the break. With the scoreline at 16-0, it's all Manly. All Manly. 3 tries, 2 goals, 16 points to 0 at the break. That's exactly what we'll do, and we'll be back with the second half of the World Sevens for Coca-Cola in just a moment, the second half. Welcome back to the Cup final of the Coca-Cola World Sevens for 95, and Manly online to win their third Sevens title. One was the national title, and then they won the World Sevens last year. So they're looking to put their third scalp under their belt here today, and they've got 16 points start on their rival, the Fijians, who haven't really got out of first gear in this match so far, because Manly has had them totally contained, totally restrained, really. They haven't been playing that open ad-lib football that we know they can play, Fiji, because Manly have had them bottled up in defence. Kubawai plays it now on their first set of 6 in the second half. Peru on the runaround, looking for the return from Naikakalu. And it's Wayne Adroa who'll play it now for the Fijians, 37 metres out from his own line. Peru, no, that's not Peru, but in fact Naikakalu, who came away with it and put the boot to the ball. It's gone back down the field for Matthew Ridge, but there's a penalty for him being taken out late too.
Had to be a penalty there. Steve Menzies, I think you'll find, took the Fijian out of play.
Yeah.
Well, that's the fact, it's nothing in it really. He sort of tripped over him.
Well, I must admit I saw it and sort of dismissed it without making too much mention of it, but the penalty has gone Fiji's way. And that's something we're not going to change from up here in the box. The tap will be taken by Kadroka. Can Fiji score first in the second half? A task that they must do. They must perform. Manly, if they score next, this final is pretty much wrapped up. Out from dummy half goes Kadroka, looking to break this line, but Manly's defence, headed by Jeff Tuvey, holds firm again. And now Naikakalu goes across. The pass goes inside to Dakwatonga, and they're about 4 metres away from the line. The ball to be played back, and it's Peru with it now. He runs, sees an opening, breaks through, and there's the try they needed. He wasn't prepared to sit down. He wanted to improve for his goal kicker. Well done, Saru.
There's Filimani Saru. He's had a lot of Sevens experience. We've seen him here. He's been one of their best players. He's got his side back into this game to some extent, almost a shepherd standing behind the man playing the ball for that length of time. Hadn't placed the ball there, realised that he could get up and go under the posts. Makes it an easier conversion for his teammate.
So the attempted conversion is online for the number 7, Naikakalu. And that stretches his margin as the top point scorer, 16-6. And now Fiji on the board, 10 points in arrears with 7.5 minutes of the cup final remaining. Cliff Lyons starts us, and a long pass immediately to the extremity for the big fellow Danny Moore. Danny Moore, 32 metres out from the Fijian line. Des Hasler is on. That's him a dummy half. It's come through the halves and gone out to Ridge and along to Hill now. Terry Hill, the scorer of 1 try in the cup final. He beats 2. He's held in the third. They tend to drop off a bit in defence, the Fijians. They can hit big, but they haven't got the organisation of Manly, which is understandable. Lyons for Tuvey, then for Hasler. He looked like he was going to angle back in, but then went out to Danny Moore, and the big fellow comes back across the park, finds Matthew Ridge, in turn Hancock. Now Hill. Hill bound for the corner, tries to stand the Fijian Dakwatonga up. He's unsuccessful in doing so, and he'll play the ball now for Craig Hancock. Through to Lyons. Lyons gets a call from Moore. He goes on to Ridge, and Ridge puts on a little sprint, and that takes him over to put it down behind the bar. 20 points to 6, the Eagles.
Well, Manly have gone from one side of the field to the other, back again, and now when they sent the ball back to the other side, they just caught the Fijians out. That's what they've been trying to do for the last 3 tackles, catch them short in their line, and with the confusion there between the defenders, Ridge virtually a stroll on a Sunday afternoon in the park for him.
I think they're getting tired, Fiji. You see the number 2, Wayne Adroa, hadn't come across, whereas Manly have bottled up that part of the field all afternoon. That time Fiji paid the penalty for not having a man there with the speed to match Matthew Ridge. The conversion attempt successful, 22 points to 6. 5 minutes and 45 seconds to go in this final.
So across now for Ili Tonga to get us going into the next passage, and a fairly forlorn hope now for the Fijians to pull it out. The crowd has been very subdued, as I said earlier. The bulk of them really wanting the Fijians, I guess. But Manly have shut them down with class. Korovata. And then Tonga, and the ball is lost. And a hapless performance by the Fijians, probably the kindest thing we can say about them.
I think you've got to say that they played as well as they've been allowed to.
Well, yeah, I think that's true, but they just haven't relaxed, if you like, and had a good time.
But that's exactly what happened to Newcastle in the semi-final between Manly and Newcastle. They'd been playing so well, but Manly just shut them down.
Now Hasler pushes it out for Tuvi to get the run on the inside from John Hopewadi. Tuvi will support him. They're down near the halfway line, and a bit of a World Championship wrestling match taking place over there. As John Hopewadi eventually plays the ball, and it's come across from Hasler, bouncing in front of Cliff Lyons. Lyons keeps going to the right towards the member side, and Danny Moore finds himself in some space. The big Fijian is chasing, but Danny Moore runs away from him, and I think you'll find that's try number 5 for Danny Moore. 26 points to 6 to score.
He's had a good tournament, Danny Moore. He's scored plenty of tries, and he's shown good speed. He looks like he's taken some weight off the beginning of this season. It's a streamlined version.
Oh, how do you know that about him? Turn it up.
Oh, it's been a long couple of days.
Oh, turn it up,
yeah,
Sterlo.
I just turned it up.
Well, this is the streamlined version of Danny Moore coming straight down the camera barrel.
He's had no luck, eh? Well, that's no good. He's getting on in years too. But no, he looks good. Looks very streamlined.
The conversion attempt from Cliffy Lyons was offline, and 26 to 6 remains the score.
Oh, that'll do me. You've got the man of the series, Sterlo.
Which is something we will find out before the end of the telecast, who in fact is the man of the series. Is it Wes Patton from Balmain? Is it Matthew Johns from Newcastle? Or might it be Jeff Tuvey from Manly? We'll find all that out before the end of the telecast as the number 7, Naya Kakalu, gets a pass away rather sloppily, and Jeff Tuvey is there. He's been everywhere, Jeff. And he'll play the ball 40 metres out from his own line. Matthew Ridge and Terry Hill, they form the angle. And Hill goes in one side, comes out the other. Oh, the Fijians, they've dropped off completely in the final. Manly far too good. And Hill waits for the defence to come down the ground before he places the ball. That's not bad sportsmanship, but that is very much Sevens tactics. 30 points to 6. There hasn't been a whacking like this in a final for a long time.
Not since last year when they whacked St. George. Anyway,
it wasn't by this margin.
No. Terry Hill, it really is a shame, though. You know, Fiji haven't performed. They've been crowd pleasers for the last couple of days. And Terry's just feeling in cruise mode. And 32 to 6.
So the Fijians now. The knock-on has been ruled by Bill Harrigan. Number 8, Langi picked it up and just took a quick look at Bill Harrigan. As if to say, am I offside or is that a knock-on? The scrum is packing. Manly's loose and feed for Jeff Tuvey now. 32 to 6 with 1 minute and 50 seconds on the clock, and Tuvey put it on the chest of Craig Hancock exactly when the winger wanted it, and Hancock caps off a magnificent series. There's another bloke that's been really having a top tournament, and he must come into calculations as well, Craig Hancock.
He's had a great series. That must be up around 6 or 7 tries for him. And he scored a couple of beauties. Here's another one. It's a matter of hitting the gap off the Tuvey pass. And they're very, very tired, the Fijians.
It'd be nice to be a speed man running onto the service of Cliff Lyons and Jeff Tuvey. A perfect pass there, the little run around. They put the defenders back on their heels, and Hancock at speed. Brought out wide. It's all too easy now.
The conversion attempt unsuccessful. A broad smile on the face of Craig Hancock. 5 tries from the tournament. We make it. And probably one thing that is coming through more than anything in this final is the fitness of Manly. They're ready for the Tui's challenge, which will start on Wednesday night. And of course, Bob Fulton's got them not fully fit, but pretty close to it. And the Fijians know that they're up against a side such as that. Here they are trying to put some respectability on the scoreboard, and they manage to achieve that. Kadroika goes in to score adjacent to the uprights. He comes up with some blood from the nose, slams the ball into the turf. A show of frustration, 36-10.
They get over the final try of the match. They pick up 50,000. That'll be very handy over there in Fiji. But the Pepsi people, they love this tournament. They love taking the 100 off Coke.
They do it with monotonous regularity, don't they? 36-12. The kick. Nobody really seems too concerned. It was unsuccessful, and that is the final score. Totally dominant, outstanding performance, Jeff Tuvey. I think when he repelled what Fiji had to offer in the early part of the game, they were the big plays, the tackles of Tuvey, and it frustrated the Fijians. And eventually, I won't say they turned it up, but Manly just ran riot in this final. 36-12. Manly retain their crown. They win $100,000. Beautiful money from Coca-Cola. And the Fijians will take home $50,000. So Balmain won the second division. And of course, Tonga won the plate division, the minor division. And Footy Tab will pay $4.70. $4.70. Steve Menzies, Kangaroo Tourist, is with Steve Roach on the sideline.
Yeah, firstly, pretty excited Manly there, Steve. Good effort from you, blokes.
Yeah, it was a good effort to get to the final. We had some tough games there, and then in the final there we defended well. Yeah,
Bozo picked it. A lot of the teams that played against Fiji earlier probably ball what you blokes were rubbing into them all the time.
Yeah, a lot of skill out there, turning guys under the way Cliffy runs. But I think our defence got us there. We slid really well, and they couldn't get over.
And you guys have had a fair few trials early in the year. You reckon that paid you in the end?
Yeah, sure. We had a bit of extra fitness there with a couple of games under our belt, so I think that helped.
Had enough rest after the Roo tour, mate?
Yeah, enough rest, ready to get back into it.
Yeah. Go and join your teammates. Good on you.
Well, there he is, Steve Menzies on the sidelines with Steve Roach. Manly standing by for the presentation ceremony. Our own Peter Sterling will host that for you in just a moment. We'll take a break. We'll be back in just a moment to the Coca-Cola World Sevens.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's now my very great pleasure to tell you that the man of the series, the Coca-Cola man of the series, I have a cheque for $1,000, and the winner is Terry Hill from Manly.
Thank you very much. First of all, I'd like to thank Fiji on a great game. They've been in the competition, I think, for the last 3 years, and they've only got better. I think it's a credit to them making the final of the Cup Series. Congratulations. I'd like to thank Bob Fulton, the coach, Frank Denton, the chief executive, and all the directors and all the helpers we had today and over the last 3 days. It's been sensational. Couldn't have done it without all the other players. Absolutely, they're all super. I love them all. And I'd like to thank Coke for putting on the $100,000 sevens. In saying that, I'd also like to thank Pepsi, our sponsor. Thank you very much. You beauty!
A Kangaroo Tourist last year, Terry Hill, and looks like he's shaping for a great season this year as well. It's been a long, hard 3 days for all the teams involved here, and for those teams that have got through the finals, they certainly deserve to have gone that far. Unfortunately, a little bit lopsided the final, but if entertainment value is any guide, then the Fijians have certainly been winners this weekend. They're runners-up today, and we'd now like to call on Mr. Rob Nicholas, the General Manager of Coca-Cola, to present the runners-up trophy to Lee Naligalagi and his Fijian players.
Thank you, Peter. Mr. Ken Arthurson, Director General, International Board of Rugby League. Tournament Director, Colin Love, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure you will all agree with me that this year's Coca-Cola World Sevens was an outstanding tournament. Right from the opening, which this year...
And we have the victorious Manly side. They've retained their title from last year, now the only team to have won the Sevens tournament 3 times. A big round of applause as they come to the front podium for Jeff Tuvey and the boys from Manly.
Firstly, I'd like to thank Coca-Cola for putting on such a great tournament all weekend, bringing all these fabulous teams together from all around the world. I'd like to say to Fiji, they did themselves proud, and I'd just like to think that in the future, I think rugby league will be a big sport there, and the way they performed today, it's a credit to them and their country. To all the fans that turned out both weekends, I'd like to thank them for their support, and also I'd like to thank our major sponsor, Pepsi Co-op, for their support for the last few years. Thank you very much.
Let's not drop this one. Well done. Well played. Good ball.
Congratulations to Manly. A great performance once again. And as they take off on their lap of honour, we'd like to now call the Fijian players up to receive their runners-up medal. Could you please keep a round of applause going for both sides, the Fijian side and the Manly Warringah Sea Eagles.
Yes, Peter, well said, and I'm sure that the fans will give an encouraging round of applause to the Fijians, because they certainly are welcome here on the green turf of the City Football Stadium anytime they so desire. 5 of them will be going around in the Winfield Cup, and of course that is not too far down the rugby league ladder, but just in front of that is the Tui's Challenge, and of course the Tui's Challenge starts on Wednesday night from a brand new venue for rugby league at the Hyatt Coolum Resort. Sydney City Roosters will play Brisbane Broncos. That is the first match we'll have to air for you on Wednesday night, and that'll be followed on a night of rugby league.